FITC is pleased to introduce Theodore Watson and Emilie Gobay, artists and designers at Design.io, a creative studio specializing in the design and development of cutting-edge, immersive, interactive installations. Today, they will showcase some of their recent work and give you some insight into how they do it. Please join us in welcoming Emilie and Theo.
So kind of our domain is really the kind of intersection of design, research, and code. But for us, code is, even though that's a lot of what we do, it's not the main thing for us. And we really think of code as just another tool, and we see it as something for a means to create wonder and excitement in the people that are experiencing our work. I guess we would say that our main specialty is creating interactive experiences. And I guess less and less now, but in the past when we used to say the word interactive, people thought we meant like website stuff or like Flash. But for us, interactive is something that's really powerful. It steps away from the screen, it reaches out and touches you, and invites you to jump in and play with it.
And the first project is called Funky Forest. It's an interactive ecosystem for children. In 2007, we were invited by this really amazing children's festival in Amsterdam called Cinekid to come up with a project there. And we knew we wanted to create an immersive environment that would support open play, meaning that it would reward exploration and not be a directive experience. And we started thinking about things that we loved to do when we were children, like climbing trees and playing in the woods and being at the beach and creating paths for water and then damming the water. So we came up with Funky Forest, which allows children to create trees with their bodies that take the shape of their body. And then using these pillow rocks and logs that we created, they can then divert the water to the forest to make the trees grow and to keep it alive. Oh. So here's a video of the very first version of the project. The trees also grow proportionally to the height of the child. So if you're really small, you'll make a tiny tree.
So this girl makes a tiny tree because she's really small. And then these people figured out that the height was proportional and then stood on each other's shoulders to make a really tall tree. And then for us, what was interesting about the project is we kind of had this idea of, we thought this would be cool, but we really had no idea how, like if the kids would like it or not, or if they would really get it. So we were really pleasantly surprised when it opened at the Cinekid Festival. It was just completely swamped by children, and children playing in very different ways. We had like some kids that was just playing with the water, other kids that were just making trees and didn't care about the water.
And then there was, some people who would really take a manager's role and start directing people and telling them where they needed trees and where the water needed to go.
That was one girl.
Yeah, very frantic situation.
Bossing all these boys around.
So this is the basic setup of Funky Forest. It has 3 projection sides, and the forest wall and the floor are interactive. And then we have 2 IR cameras, one for tracking the floor and the other for tracking the people along the wall. So this is the view from the camera looking at the wall. We use an IR camera so it doesn't see the projected image, and we can really find the shape of people's bodies. So after we've done that, we go through a process of simplifying the contour down so that then we can find where their head is and where their arms are. And then that way we know, once they've made a tree, which direction or which angle the branches need to grow at.
So you can see this is like a little kind of prototype app that was the same technique that we used for the project. And on the bottom left corner, you can see the silhouette of the person in blue, and then like left hand, head, right foot, left foot. We were doing this before the Connect, by the way.
So the next project is called Rise and Fall. And last, January, we were invited by Boards Magazine to come up with an augmented reality cover for them. And this was shortly after Esquire magazine had their augmented reality issue. So we decided that we really wanted to take a different approach to it and play a bit more with the interaction, because a magazine is a pretty clunky interface to use. So we came up with the story of Rise and Fall, which is about the juxtaposition of these two worlds with opposing properties. So as the person navigates, Kiko back.
Oh, sorry.
If you're falling, your character is the hand. If you're falling, you have an umbrella. And then if you turn the magazine and you're rising, you have a balloon. And the cover of the magazine was kind of a poster for the story, but then also, like Theo said, it's also your way of navigating.
So the first step is to hold up the magazine. And then it asks you to rotate it 180 degrees. So you kind of learn a little bit the interface. And then rotate it back to start the story. And now we're kind of let into the world of Rise and Fall. So a bright beginning to an upward sinking, we lift our extension in a vertical direction. A clear night submerged, we sink in downwards flight. So you can really go in either direction, throughout the story and discover it really in your own way. A ruffle or reflection depends on direction. Strange pass through this. And the angle of the magazine sort of changes your direction a little bit as well. This is a node that increases your scale, and if you're going down.
Then you can see how the fish turn into birds.
And then if you're kind of moving it to the left and the right, sort of subtly changes the viewport that you're looking through. But yeah, so the software was made with open frameworks, and I think a lot of people have downloaded it and sort of used it. And I think we want to do a kind of next version of this project where we extend the story maybe more into an installation type environment. But it's, I think, kind of something that's quite nice for us to explore, is kind of different ways to tell stories. And this is something we were talking about in the panel a little earlier, just kind of thinking about narrative in a new way. So Open Frameworks is a project that started by Zach Lieberman and myself and Arturo Castro. We're the sort of founders of Open Frameworks, and we spend many nights just fixing bugs and checking in fixes to the code and working on releases and stuff. But the people that we share the code with and that people are using Open Frameworks include artists like ourselves, students and teachers all around the world. There are people doing classes using Open Frameworks. And workshops, which are a really big part of Open Frameworks and help getting it into the hands of new people. Yesterday we did an Open Frameworks workshop for people at Flash in the Can, which was awesome. So that's a kind of, this idea of a community that is just dedicated to sort of helping each other out, making new projects, and just really like being passionate about learning. So I think, how are we doing? Oh, okay. Sure. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.